We are down right at the end of the season and the game is starting to change. Everyone is really realizing that they need to play this game for themselves. While they still might share some information with other players, we saw a little bit of lying and posturing tonight that really is going to change how things play out at the end of the season. Now, I've been going on and on and on about how nobody's going to guess Jason Aldean, and my jaw dropped a little bit when I heard Lark mention the name Jason Aldean. It seemed like it was shot down immediately by LC, but interesting that that name is at least in the realm of possibilities of something that one of the other contestants could guess. So our challenge this week was basically 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, where the house guests had to figure out celebrity clues that would lead them progressively closer to someone else's celebrity. I didn't really find clue-wise this to be that helpful. To be honest, I pretty much forgot all the clues already. Like, I think one was, the final clue was George Clooney was in a tequila commercial with somebody else's celebrity. If you happen to randomly remember that, maybe, but I just don't see that, especially when that tequila commercial was probably like 20 years ago. Another one was Kelly Clarkson sang a song with a Logan celebrity. Maybe that could help if you were a super Kelly Clarkson fan, but I once again doubt that everybody is. And who knows, it might be something like, oh, they sang together on a Christmas album. Honestly, still probably the best clue anyone's got for Logan all season long, since everything else was like cowboy hat, cowboy belt, things along those lines. I think one was Jackie Chan was in a movie with Pepper's celebrity in 1981. That doesn't help anybody. LC, I forget, it was like Queen Latifah was in a movie with them. I honestly don't remember. And the Simone Biles one, I don't remember. It was something very, very random that they were on a show together. But anyways, just didn't feel like those were incredibly helpful clues. Maybe they pushed some people in the right direction. I thought the more helpful part was people spotting the names of celebrities who they thought were other people's celebrities, because that helped kind of eliminate those celebrities from the running. Because like when Logan and Pepper say like, hey, our celebrities weren't on any of the stars, but we saw Lawrence Fishburne, so that probably means that LC is not related to Lawrence Fishburne. But anyways, back to the challenge. LC and Pepper were the only two who managed to finish. So LC wins. She's the only person who gets all of the clues, and it was outside of her. Only Pepper got the clue for Lark, which was the George Clooney with a large celebrity in a tequila commercial, which doesn't help, like I said. Logan and Louise in the bottom, so one of them will be the guesser. And we saw Louise immediately start pushing to become the guesser. I thought that was an interesting play, but as we all saw, not ultimately how things played out. After the challenge, we saw LC and Pepper lying to Lark and Logan. I think LC said that Kelly Pickler sang a song with Logan's celebrity, which is not true. And Pepper said, I think Jake Gyllenhaal was in a commercial, a tequila commercial with Lark's celebrity. And I totally get LC lying because she can get away with it. But Lark lying, Logan can go to LC and fact check that, and like maybe next week does, and then immediately know that like, hey, Pepper just lied to me, which puts her on the wrong side of LC and Logan, who have just been the two best players this entire season. Speaking of LC, she decided to grab a clue for Logan, which came back as Dirt Road Anthem Country Artist, which I don't think helps LC in the slightest. It doesn't help me in the slightest. Probably doesn't help any of you watching in the slightest. Dirt Road Anthem, I don't know what that means. Maybe somebody can explain it to me in the comments, but that's not getting me any closer to Jason Aldean, and probably not going to get LC, Lark, and Pepper any closer either. So while it seemed like LC had agreed to make Louise the guesser, ultimately she decides to pick Logan as the guesser. Logan guesses that Louise is related to Simone Biles, this season's worst kept secret. I loved that moment where Kevin and Frankie asked, Logan, what clues led you to discovering that Louise was related to Simone? And he's just like, her face? He's like, I didn't really need any of the other clues. I just looked at her. Pretty hilarious. So Louise goes home, leaves LC, Logan, Lark, and Pepper as our final four. I think that's a very solid final four. They're probably the four people who guarded their celebrity identity the best all season long. But let's do a quick rundown of what information people in the house are actually going on. Us watching, I think that we know who all the celebrities are, but the people in the house, not so much. Pepper. So last week we saw LC and Logan land on a guess of Dean Martin. Meanwhile, Lark has mentioned Frank Sinatra, so we could see a scenario where Logan and LC have that correct answer, Lark doesn't, and Lark ends up having to take a shot at Pepper and comes up short. Lark, you know, a lot of the house was running on a Sandra Bullock, a Martha Stewart guess, but it seemed like that was a little bit debunked this week by LC. And we did hear LC and Logan briefly mention Cindy Crawford, who I believe is Lark's celebrity. So LC and Logan could have a lead there, as well as with Pepper. For LC, Logan and Pepper, they started to think that the Lawrence Fishburne guess was wrong, but I would probably guess that Lark would still make the Lawrence Fishburne guess if she had to. And lastly, Logan, we did hear Lark mention Jason Aldean, but it seemed like that was immediately shot down. And beyond that, I don't see anybody figuring out who Logan is. And the only way that he's getting knocked out of this competition is by an incorrect guess. And if we go back through, you know, if he has to guess LC, he could be wrong there. But he's got a good line on both Lark and Pepper. So really, I hope that this comes down to LC and Logan. I think that would be the end that most of us would want to see. But is that what's going to happen? We don't know. I'm really excited to see how the end of this season plays out and can't wait to watch along with all of you out there. As always, everybody, thank you so much for watching, and I'm out.